Okay, so we're getting towards the end of the Turtles of Grayskull figures that I have already purchased. That's not to say that there won't be any more after that, because there's still a few more that I want to get. But of the ones that I have, we're getting towards the end, and that means we're finally getting towards the end of all these Masters of the Universe figures I've been having to work through, and we're gonna move on to something else next, probably GI Joe, because I haven't done any GI Joe in a while, and I'd kind of like to get those out of the way since I've got a few of those to open. And then it's back on to DC because I've got a ton of DC stuff. Sean Franklin is in the house. Hi, Sean Franklin. Hope you're doing well tonight. We got April O'Neil we're about to open from Turtles to Grayskull, and we can see that she's mashed up with the Sorceress, and she's got an interesting accessory, which we're going to talk about that a little bit. Uh, Here's the picture on the back, which is based on a mini comic cover with the Sorceress, and I believe that was the mini comic that would have come with the Sorceress action figure in the first place. Surrounded by heroes on one side and villains on the other. You can see over here we've got our Stealth Ninja He-Man, Man at Arms, and Leonardo. And then over here we've got the Shredder, Skeletor, Krang. That's one I really want to get coming up soon. Sean Franklin says, "Did you know birthday? It was your birthday yesterday." Oh, I didn't. I did not know that. Well, happy birthday, man! I hope you had a good one. Yeah, it was my birthday not long ago. It was March 26th was my birthday. So, well, it's almost a month ago, at least half a month ago. Now we're already halfway through April. That's crazy. But happy birthday to Sean Franklin. So, if you're watching this and you're hearing this part, everybody wish Sean Franklin a happy birthday in the comments, because he's been a friend of the channel for a long time. He's a good dude. Deserves some good birthday wishes, even if it is a little late. And if I'd known about it beforehand, I would I would have already given you a shout out. But yeah. Anyway, hopefully one birthday soon we'll get Zack Snyder's Justice League 2. How about that? That'd be a cool thing to have. The Batman v Superman actually came out a few days before my birthday, so I always thought that was a nice birthday present. It would be nice also to get Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 for my birthday, hopefully sometime in the future. Just throwing it out there, universe, in case you're listening. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about April O'Neil, the sorceress from Channel 6 News. It says April's need to chase a story leads her into more trouble than she expects. This time it led her into Castle Grayskull. With the powers of the sorceress and into the middle of a war for the power of the universe. Talk about a scoop. More at 11. So, and then you see here with this staff, and it says, put the staff of the camcorder into her hand. So, and we all remember the original April O'Neil action figure. She came with a camcorder with a gun hidden inside of it. This one comes with a magic staff with a camcorder built into it. And a lot of people look at it and they think it's a hammer, which is an understandable thing to assume, but it says it's a staff camcorder, staff of the camcorder. So that means it's not actually a hammer. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to use it as a hammer anyway, since like you'd be smashing them with a glass lens, and that doesn't seem like it'd be the most effective weapon to me. However, this is already going to see a repaint as a hammer that's going to come with that 4-pack that they're selling with the dude who looks like a kind of like a man of war, I think is what they called him, but made out of the Palace Guard, which I think is a really cool looking figure. And we can see that it's got this, the typical Turtles of Grayskull art with the purple sky and the blue rocks exploding with green energy behind it. The ooze slime underneath. And since she's a good guy, she's got He-Man and Leonardo up there. So dueling Cam Clark's cross-sell artwork. We've seen this one before with Stealth Ninja He-Man, Stealth Ninja Leonardo, Hordak, which is the last one I opened. So we know we've seen that, and April herself. So let's go ahead and get her opened up. because I've got some things to say about this figure. And we don't have a comic book to read this time because we've already read this comic book. It is, of course, He-Man in a Half Shell. And yes, I am going to say it all sing-song like that every time I see it because it fits in with the lyrics. And her wings are not attached to the figure inside the package, which is probably a good thing because we don't want them to get warped. But she's got these really nice, big, broad wings. Ironically, the best wings to ever come with the best sorceress wings to ever come with a figure, and that doesn't actually come with the sorceress. It comes with April O'Neil. So let's go ahead and get her out of the package. And first we got this hammer, and it's not held in with any rubber tabs or anything like that. And you can actually see through it. So that's nice. So that's her weapon, is that camera staff. It's not a hammer, even though I still kind of think of it as a hammer. But like I said, you can kind of understand why. And this April looks like she uses some unique parts. And she's got some guns on her, which has got me hoping that maybe they're going to do a WWE Superstars version of Rhea Ripley. I think that would be really cool. And these would be good arms to use on her because, like I said, she's been working out. Maybe she's infused with the power of Grayskull. I don't know. But we got the original sorceress over here. Compare. I'm going to put that back in there. And if we line them up next to each other, you see that April is just ever so slightly taller. See that? If they're about the same height if you count the sorceress's bird beak, but they're actually not. If you look at the shoulders, you can see it. If you look at the hips, you can see it. So yeah, these would probably be good parts to use for a Rhea Ripley figure, I think. So let's go ahead and talk about the articulation before we put the accessories onto her. So April can look up about that far, look down about that far, tilt her head kind of quizzically from side to side, rotate the head all the way around. Of course, the arms rotate all the way around at the shoulders, but they're going to bump into this cowl that she's got here, this kind of feathery cowl. And they can move up to the side about that far, again, because they're going to kind of bump into this cowl a little bit. She's got a single joint of articulation at the elbow, bends in about that far, rotates all the way around. The wrists rotate all the way around and move in a horizontal hinge back and forth. And that is a tight joint, but we got it to work. Rotates all the way around at the waist. April can kick up about that far. She's got a single joint of articulation at the knee, which is really stiff. Doesn't bend in quite as far as you would think. That's about as far as it bends in. Rotates all the way around. Are these the same thighs? Because like I said, she seems like a taller figure overall, but it looks like she actually does have the same thighs and probably the same upper shins also. But the boots definitely are a little bit taller than what the sorceress has. If I could get the, yeah, get that. So it doesn't quite look like April's jumpsuit that we saw in the cartoon. And it doesn't quite look like anything that we usually see in Masters of the Universe either, even though she does have like a little bit of a loincloth kind of thing going on. And like I said, there's some sorceress type stuff on her. But honestly, I wish that this is a really cute face sculpt. And I think they did a really good job making it look like the April O'Neil that we know and love from the original cartoon. They got the hair just right. She looks great, but unfortunately, she does have this sorceress headpiece that's permanently attached on there. And I wish they had made that removable somehow, because otherwise that would be a perfect April O'Neil custom to use for, or I'm sorry, a perfect April O'Neil head sculpt to use for customs. But unfortunately, is not removable. Speaking of removable, we can pull her head off since she's an Origins figure. And I want to have a look at the torso underneath here. And she's got like an interesting necklace underneath, actually. And then skin tone painted on her neck. So that should blend in with her. She's got like a little bit of a shirt collar. It looks like it's just painted on there, though. So this does look kind of familiar to me. And I'm kind of wondering if that's going to be reused on another character, but I just haven't put two and two together on it yet. Maybe it's that cat girl character. What was her name? I don't remember what that character's name is, but you know the one I'm talking about, right? From the old Filmation cartoon. Anyway, let's go ahead and put her back together. So, oh yeah, she does have. I got distracted. She does have boot cuts. The boot rotates all the way around. Foot points down about that far. Foot points up about that far, and rotates all the way around. So that's the articulation on that. And of course, her wings have articulation. They just kind of move up and down. They're really nice, big, broad wings, and man, would they look great on a sorceress figure. So hopefully, we'll see these on a sorceress figure at some point. I'm kind of figuring if they ever do a figure of Queen Angela, these will be the wings that we see on that. And in fact, on the Voltac figure, which I do have, by the way, that will be something I'll be opening up soon. Voltac comes with these wings, but molded in lavender. So let's go ahead and put the wings on her and see what that looks like. And she does have pretty impressive wingspan for a news reporter who isn't even actually a sorceress, but somehow got the powers of the sorceress. She looks good. So yeah. And then last but not least, we can put her camcorder accessory into her hand. And you can see that some parts of the staff are thicker than others, but there's a little bit of a space down here. So we can get her into a two-handed grip with the staff, I think. So let's go ahead and try to do that. And voila. There she is with the two-handed grip on the staff. So it's a nice enough figure, I think, of an April O'Neil that is part of a crossover. But I do wish they'd managed to do her in such a way where like you could strip off all the Masters of the Universe stuff and just have a regular April figure underneath. Just because this is such a good figure of April, you know, even with all the sorceress stuff on her, I kind of figure if it was possible to remove the sorceress stuff and just have her in her regular yellow jumpsuit underneath without the headdress or the funky necklace or anything like that, I think that would be a really cool thing. And there's lots of good parts for customs. Like I said, I think these are probably the best wings for the sorceress we've ever seen, ironically, on a figure that's not the sorceress. But I'm sure some customizer has already taken these wings off and put them onto a regular sorceress figure or something like that, or their own custom. And somewhere around here, I think that I still have, yeah. Here we've got the Masterverse version of the Revelation sorceress, and you can see that the cowl that she has that fits around her shoulders, very similar to what April has here. It's not identical, but it's not the same piece, but it's that same sort of cowl with the kind of diamond shaped amulet in the middle. You see what I'm talking about? So maybe they're planning on at some point doing a Revelation style sorceress in the Origins style. So let's see if they do that. Maybe that'll happen eventually, and I think that would be a really cool thing to do. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a little bit shorter than my Masters of the Universe episodes usually are, but I think we've pretty much covered everything we need to cover on this figure, especially since we didn't need to read a comic book this time. But don't fret, it's not the end of Turtles the Grayskull, because I still have Splinter, and I still have all four of the boys, so we'll be covering them this week. And at some point in the future, I do intend on getting Krang and Mossman, because I know that those are fairly easy to find at Walmart right now. So I want to go ahead and make sure I can grab those, and hopefully more of these in the future. I do want to get Ninjor and Clamp Champ. I think those are really cool figures. And then that won't quite be the end of Masters of the Universe, because we still have the Voltac figure I was talking about. But we're getting towards the end of it. Finally, light at the end of the tunnel for people who are like, man, can you talk about something besides He-Man? Just for once, it's been He-Man for like almost 2 months now. Anyway, if you want to make sure you don't miss any of those future episodes, make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this figure and the character of April O'Neil, in general. And let me know what your favorite version of April O'Neil is. Personally, I really like the one from the 1987 cartoon series. I kind of feel like that's the one that's kind of become the definitive version of April in terms of pop culture. That's the one that everybody goes back to. I was watching some review with some girl talking about April, and she said she hated it when they made April a reporter. And I'm like, she's almost always a reporter, and it works really well because it makes it so you can fit her into the story rather easily. So I don't know why you would hate that, but oh well. It's like the 1990 movie had her as a reporter, and God knows that's like just one of the best versions of Ninja Turtles in general. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We will talk to you next time. Next episode, I think, will be Master Splinter, aka Splinter Skull, and he's going to be splintering a lot of skulls while he's got the power of Grayskull. Anyway, we'll talk to you next time. Bye.